This is episode 3 in what I expect to be a 9-part series explaining the Korean nuances of Squid Game. Obviously, there are spoilers ahead, so definitely watch Squid Game before watching this video, and you probably also want to check out my breakdown of episodes 1 and 2 before watching this, although the order in which you watch these shouldn't actually matter. If you do want to watch these chronologically, there will be a link in the top right corner right now that will take you to episode 1. Let's get it on then with episode 3 called The Man with the Umbrella. The episode starts with Juno, the detective, following the vans to Mujin Port. Now, my research tells me that this is not a real place, but my guess is that director Hwang Dong-hyuk is portraying this as probably one of the small islands off the coast of Incheon, as there are a bunch of secluded islands in that area. When Gi-hoon hears that Sang-woo gave Ali bus fare so he wouldn't have to walk 30 kilometers to get home, Gi-hoon says, "Comrades from boot camp, is that it?" All men in Korea before the age of 35 have to spend about 2 years in the military. Because of this, you tend to make some lifelong friends within your platoon while serving. So Gi-hoon is saying, wow, you guys became friends quickly, like some do in the military. When they line up to eat, they're each given a tin lunchbox. The old man says the lunchbox brings back memories, and that's because back in the day, well, actually even probably as recent as, say, 20, 30 years ago, kids at school would be packed one of these for lunch by their parents. The classic lunchbox had rice, kimchi, a fried egg, and perhaps a couple of other vegetable side dishes. This one having been sprouts and fermented black beans. So this was the standard lunch for Korean students for a very long time, although now most schools provide lunch for students at the school. As the group is trying to guess what the next game might be, Gi-hoon mentions some of the games that they used to play as children.
딱지치기, 다방구, 땅 따먹기, 비석치기, 술래잡기, 돈가스, 얼음땡. 여자들은 공기놀이, 고무줄, 실뜨기.
Is it possible that some of these games might be played in Squid Game Season 2? Well, I'll explain each of the games that Gi-hoon mentions, and you be sure to comment on which one of these games that you'd like to see in Season 2. And of course, none of these were actually played in Season 1. Dakjichigi was. Dakjichigi was what Gi-hoon played in the subway station, where you simply have to flip over your opponent's dakji, the red and blue paper things. Dabangu is like team tag with a jailbreak. So one team has to catch the other team in tag. You play individually. And as each player is caught on one team, well, they have to be connected to a particular designated pole or, a place. Or as a chain connected to the pole if there's multiple people that have been caught. And if a player from their team tags them, they're all free like a jailbreak, while the game ends once the team that's it captures everyone that's not on their team as a part of that jail. Tang Tamoki is a Korean form of hopscotch with 8 boxes. You toss a stone on a number, and if you can negotiate the course properly, that box becomes yours in the final points tally. Pisokchigi is a knockdown game where you either slide or toss a block or stone at another block or set of blocks or stones on the other side of a line. Some forms of the game have also have players maybe balancing their shooting block on various parts of their body as they walk across before dropping it on the block that they're trying to knock over. 술래잡기 This is basically just the Korean name for playground tag that everyone knows. So, 술래잡기 is just tag. Donkatsu. Donkatsu means pork cutlet in Korean, and it's also the name of a children's game from way back. It's an individual game where you take turns hopping into and out of a circle, which is supposed to be the cutlet. And as you hop out, everyone else can hop once. And if you step on someone's foot, then that player is eliminated. And so on until there's only one winner left, and you're kind of saying donkatsu each time that you hop in rhythm. And sometimes you can do multiple, so you can do like donkatsu katsu or donkatsu katsu katsu, and each time you're hopping on those, which gives you an opportunity to step on somebody's foot. Orumteng is the Korean version of freeze tag. The player who is it chases everyone, and if a player feels that they might get caught, well, they can say autumn. And autumn means ice in Korean, so you're saying freeze. And that player is then safe from being tagged, but they can't move until another player unfreezes them by tagging them and saying 땡. 공기. Gongi is the Korean version of jacks. You have 5 plastic pieces that are filled with something to give it some weight and also gives it a bit of a sound sometimes. You scatter them out in a toss, and then you pick one up and toss it and pick up another piece while the first piece is in the air. You then have to catch the piece you tossed with the piece you picked up without dropping either. And then you do that once again, except after tossing them out, you're going to pick them up 2 at a time. Then you do them 3 and then 1, and then you do all 4 of them together. This is another game that everyone has played as a kid in Korea. 고무줄 literally means rubber band. This is like a Korean version of jumping rope or double Dutch jumping. It's a little different because double Dutch or jump ropes are a rope you turn, whereas in the 고무줄 game, the rubber band you use stays stationary, and you either jump it or step on it, sometimes even wrap it around your leg to a song that everyone sings together. 설뜨기, as explained in the English subtitle, is simply the Korean name for cat's cradle. So those are all the Korean games that Ki-hoon mentions. Once again, make sure you comment in the section which game you'd like to see in Season 2. The English translation calls this the sugar honeycomb game, and it's definitely a very loose translation. 설탕 뽑기 literally means sugar takeout or pluck out. Maybe sugar cookie cutout is what I would have gone with. I guess they wanted it to sound cooler in English, so they went with honeycomb, even though honey or honeycomb are not ingredients in the cookie and has nothing to do with this game. But back in the day, you could find someone making these in front of every elementary school in Korea, selling these for a nickel or a dime, depending on the time period. The reason it was a game is because if you were able to cut the shape out perfectly, you could win another cookie for free. Nowadays, you don't see these setups as much, if at all, as Korea slowly migrates away from older practices that didn't have an address for their business or proper standards in terms of cleanliness, as well as tax-paying setups as well. I'm sure you've seen various videos online on how to make these, but it's basically just melted sugar with a pinch of baking soda. A cookie cutter is used to gently make a shape on the cookie, and as you know, you've got to cut out the shape without breaking off a piece of the shape. The shape is meant to be imprinted as gently as possible, as it was obviously meant to be difficult to complete the task. And without a pin or needle, it's next to impossible to do. And even with a pin, in 10 minutes, it can be difficult depending on the shape. It should also be noted that when Sang-woo learned of the sugar being melted, every Korean knew what was coming and obviously knew the triangle shape would be the easiest and the umbrella would be the most difficult. So when Sang-woo said they should each do a different shape rather than all do the same shape or all do the triangle, Koreans knew immediately that, well, Sang-woo didn't exactly possess the purest of morals. Remember, I will add new videos explaining the Korean nuances in episodes 4 to 9 as well. So if you're not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you're notified immediately when I upload my next video. And also, I recently bought a sugar cookie cutout kit with the umbrella, so I can't wait to eventually show you how to actually make the cookies in the future as well. And I'll show you how I ordered the kit also once I get that video made as well. So again, make sure you're subscribed.
좋다.